Offline. Stream resumed. Are we watching it or not? Have a look. Okay. Please let me know if... Alright, I'm just going to go ahead now and start watching, and let's hope we get somewhere. Okay, we have some videos. Like I said, if anyone else has any videos on this story, then please share them in the comments. And if anyone wants to say hello, interact, it's always great. We got loads of videos on this, like I said. First thing, someone linked this video to me, although quite often with these news stories I get a link and then you go to like a news story, it looks like you've got a great video and it ends up being a still video, a still photo, and you don't see anything. However, I'm going to point some out, and this is, I think, is going to come up quite a lot. Weird ears. Look at that guy's ear. Does that look natural? Don't know if you can see my cursor, but just there, it looks sort of like, I don't know whether they've cropped something over the top of it or whether they've actually put something on there, but weird ears. If we look at some of the suspects, hang on, again, where are their ears? Why do they chop off the ears all the time? I never quite understand that, but nonetheless, it seems to be something that happens a lot. This is Mohiba Rahman and fellow defendant Tahir Aziz. Before we watch any videos, we'll do a quick... Should we read the summary? I mean, why was the attacker Usman out of prison? No, we don't want to read that, do we? Let's just get on with some videos and inspecting the footage. I mean, there's plenty of photos, as always. AFP and Getty managed to get there, and Reuters PA managed to get there just in time to catch this woman running down the street. As you see, panic running around. These people to her right to her left seem to be walking casually. The woman behind her a bit slower. Oh, and the guy behind the sign to the very left of the picture doesn't seem to be he seems like almost starstruck, staring at a camera. Right, the latest attack comes after the UK's terrorism threat level was downgraded on the 4th of November from severe to substantial, meaning that attacks were thought to be likely rather than highly likely. I don't know if any of you remember what happened after the last attack on London Bridge. We ended up having armed police officers roaming the streets. It was very much something I think they were doing for just to be seen. I don't even necessarily believe those guns were real. But let's see what footage they got of it. We can hear a guy... Right, let's go back to Mr. Weird Ear, talking about pinball. See how many pinball references you can get in. Sandy123, good evening, thank you for joining us. And commenting. Right, let's hear this guy. Like I said, I haven't actually previewed any of these videos, so I don't know what we're going to get on half of them, but we'll have a look. Can you hear that? I'm gonna... Right, I'm starting again. I don't know what the audio is like your end. I'm just going to preview it 1 second and then we'll get on. Sorry, again, I don't know what the audio is. I'm going to mute at my end and then we'll get playing. I wonder if I turn the volume up. Hang on. Audio output. Perfect. Right. Okay, for some reason you're not getting the audio. I do not believe. Is that correct? Can anyone confirm that? We can play it through my microphone. It's possibly being blocked for copyright reasons. I don't know. Did anyone else hear that? I'm going to play it back a minute. Blocked for copyright reasons. Audio output. Right, well that's odd because I'm hearing it my end, but you're not hearing it your end. So we'll try again. It just means that as you watch the video, you have to make do with my with the watery background sound effect. Right, audio output. That's all switched on. Right, just reading the comments. Simone Z, are you looking for something in particular, Bobby? Just got on, so I don't know if I missed something. Simone, you haven't missed anything. All we've done so far is try to watch a single video. Yeah, we're inspecting the footage of the 30th of November attack that happened in London and trying to get some audio. But at the minute, it's proving difficult. I don't know why. Right, I'm going to try playing this and see if you can hear it through, I don't know, perhaps if I try a different video a minute. Alright, bear with me a minute, we'll get there shortly. Right, here's a... Right, I'm just going to see whether this plays, okay? Oh, I don't know what it is, but... Is it a
This is looked at as a disgrace throughout slavery.
Right. Just going to see if that played, if you could hear anything.
Disgrace throughout slavery.
Yeah, now weirdly that worked, unless it was just coming through my microphone. Oh, right. Deflated ball, no audio on video. Yes, I'm having the same problem here. I'm curious whether what I just played there you could hear because it was coming through my microphone. So I'm going to mute my microphone, try it again, and I'll get back to you. We will get underway shortly. Right. Okay, I can definitely confirm audio is not coming through. Let me see why not. Okay, I can definitely confirm audio is not coming through. Alright guys, give us a minute and I'll do my best to sort this one out. Audio output. Properties. Default, use temp. Okay. Right, I'm going to try again. I'm going to mute myself and we'll see if anything plays. Just want to say thank you for your patience, guys.
A hoe. Why is it okay for Meg Thee Stallion and all these other women to be twerking their asses up
Okay, I think we're getting there now. That worked. Thank you for your feedback, Sandy, Simone, Deflated Ball, and thanks for joining also. I recognise a couple of those names, Deflated Ball. I'm not sure if you've joined us on our live chat, on our live videos before, but regardless, it's great to have you on board. Right, now we're going to try once more to watch the video from the BBC, well, on the BBC's website, see how many references we get to. Yeah, this guy starts talking about pinballs and everything, very weird. Here we are. Right, attempt number 3. For your benefit, I'm going to mute my audio and we'll play it again. Here goes.
Into a game of pinball bomb with added knives. This is extraordinary things happening, done by ordinary people. Let me just bounce you around. In reception, you've got Dawn and Gareth, one trying to keep that door closed against a vicious knifeman, the other calmly placing the emergency calls. Peter, Amma, they appear on scene, wrong time, wrong place, and make instant decisions as to who to protect and where to go. You get Alla and Sandra, normally dealing with coats and serving coffees, and now facing a life moment. And then famously, you get Andy and Lucas starting a fight back. They used fire extinguishers, they used chairs, they used these narwhal tusks ripped off the wall in the heat of the moment, and they took the game back to the knifeman. When that door was forced open at knife point, they follow out onto the pavement, shouting at others to get back and join in. They know there's a bomb there, and the rest, I think you know, is what happened on the television cameras. They took a decision that enough was enough. They took anything immediately to hand in order to level the odds against a madman. No one could predict how this was going to happen, start to finish, 2 minutes, but they were determined that it wasn't going to go on, and they did exactly what they had to do. Proud to know them.
Okay, great. I believe that worked. Just reading some of the comments. Outside of 52, absolutely agree. Bad drama acting. Sandy, yeah, he did look down and read his script. He had no choice. Now it looks like I can play these videos and they'll all play in a row. I might do that, and then I don't have to keep muting and unmuting the audio and then come back at the end. I'm not sure what footage you'll see. But yeah, this guy was definitely reading off a script. No doubt about that. Bob Lion Jackass Mule, who scripts this crap? Good question. Issy at all, thanks for joining. Great to have you all here. Yeah, I'm glad Simone and Deflated Ball, I'm glad you joined in on the live chat, it's great. Okay, we'll watch some more then. I'll mute my awful microphone and we'll listen to some more and watch some more and see what comes up. And I might interject from time to time. Alright.
It turns into a game of proud to know them.
Oh, bro, what? What is going on? It's got a bomb.
Okay, I know I said I was going to let them play, but I think that was quite an interesting one. I don't know if you noticed, there was absolutely no audio in any of that until the last minute when police arrived. And then suddenly, you heard someone, listen, quiet. So, now that's interesting. There were no other noises going on at that moment until the police started yelling and suddenly the audio cuts in. Now I'm guessing, I'm not sure, I mean, I'm guessing they probably shut off London Bridge by packing it with traffic, and yeah, that's an odd one. They also mentioned something about a tusk. Now, like I said, I'm not too familiar with this news story. I did see a Metro earlier and it had quite a lot of news about it. I believe a few people died. Maybe I should look at the BBC website, eh? We'll get back to the videos in a minute. Right, what one's this? Right, London Bridge. The attacker had been convicted of terror offence. Okay. Right. The man who carried out the stab attack on London Bridge. I mean, it says stab attack, but I didn't see any bodies on the bridge. Had previously been jailed. Khan 28 was wearing a GPS police tag and was out of prison on licence when he launched his attack, in which a man and woman were killed and 3 others were injured. So it was one individual person did this, and yet they've arrested 6 people. Khan was shot dead by officers after members of the public restrained him. Again, we didn't see that. And just put this little bit of information. The Queen said she was saddened by the attack. Well, wouldn't that go without saying? Whatever. She thanked the emergency services as well as the brave individuals who put their own lives at risk to selflessly help and protect others. I will tell a little anecdote. We were walking through our local town centre. This was a couple of months back, and there was a kid more or less being mugged, I think. Plenty of people around him, and not one person stepped in until, and I'm not boasting or bragging or anything, but I did actually yell, "Oi," because they weren't particularly old, they were young kids, and I shouted and sort of walked up, and suddenly that interrupted the sort of assault. And it wasn't assault, punches were being thrown at this younger lad. But until that point, no one stepped in. Now all of a sudden, I mean, what I'm saying is the common reaction from a lot of passers-by is just to sit back and do nothing, especially if knives are involved. And yet, whenever you get one of these terror attacks, you always hear about all the brave people. And now I'm not saying I would get involved if there were knives and stuff, but seeing a couple of kids, or seeing a young kid getting hit by someone bigger than him, trying to nick his bike, it wasn't very nice, so I intervened, but I didn't actually go up and to them. Anyway, let's see. The Queen's thanking the emergency services. Police declared the attack a terror incident. Khan was known to the authorities. Just looking at the comments. Sandy, the Tusk. Donald Tusk, Norwell Tusk. Who is Donald Tusk, actually? I'm not familiar with that name. Was that somebody in the event? They don't usually show the bodies, no, of course not. Deflated, I guess they must have closed the bridge off at some point to allow the fakery to be filmed. But what I'm guessing they do is they pack it with buses, cars, or they come off with a cordon, say about 5 minutes before it goes on, there's a terror incident, and then they can shut the bridge off. People later hear about it on the news and possibly think, oh, hang on, we were in town at that time, that must have been what was happening, and don't necessarily realise the time was off. It says the attack began at 13:58. Now, if they shut the place down a couple of minutes before that, yeah, it's or possibly, I mean, we do hear about what they call drills, where they will stage terror attacks and see how police respond to it. Well, and the practice how they would respond to it. This happens quite frequently. EU Parliament, Donald Tusk with the fake accent. Ah, great. Thank you, affected Arian, Simone and Sandy, for filling me in. Shows just how out of touch I am with the news, particularly EU. I really try and avoid it. Yeah, could well be. Well, these are incidents, attacks often seem to happen leading up to a general election, and I believe that's on its way. Look how big this guy's ears are. Is that one of the guys whose ears were cropped out? Oh, my PC. I've plugged it in. Is it not working? Oh, I might have to find a new power source for my computer. Oh no, plugged in. Right. Yeah, I want to see, because there's someone with great big ears, and yet... Oh no, it was neither of these two people. Well, why have they included Mohibur Rahman and Tahir Aziz if they weren't even involved in the attack? I don't get it. Right, where were we? Okay, yeah. Interesting about the Tusk. Perhaps it is designed to make people think about this Tusk gentleman, Donald Tusk. Seriously, can say I've never heard of the guy, but that's how out of touch I am. Right, so I believe we can see a map of where it all started. Right, River Thames, suspect shot by the police, and the fishmonger's hall. So where were the stabbings? Where did they take place? Monument Station. That doesn't show us an awful lot. Police believe the attacker had acted alone. So why are they naming all these other people in connection? Yeah, Simone, like I said earlier, I don't know if you caught the very beginning of it. Ears are a very strange thing. Whenever anything like this happens, you'll see people and their ears are often cut out. I mean, yeah, the guy who we saw in the first video, where is he? He had very strange ears. I don't know if you saw that. Okay, we'll go on to the next one. I think this is an interview now. I kicked bridge attack suspect to dislodge knife. Right, I'm going to mute my audio again. Be back with you shortly.
We saw just a sort of a handful of people running away from a direction just to the left of us on the left-hand side from south to north. And I don't know why, but I felt compelled to jump out of the car to go and see what the situation was. And we saw a guy being sort of accosted to the floor. So I obviously ran over there to investigate what was going on. And the guys were just screaming. He stabbed a couple of women, I'm guessing from the bar, the fishmonger's bar that was just being spoken about just live now. So they were screaming that. So everyone was just on top of him, trying to bundle him to the ground. And we saw that the knife was still in his hand. He was covered in blood, and he saw the knife was still in his hand. So I just put a foot in to try and kick him in the head. We were trying to do as much as we could to try and dislodge the knife from his hand so he wouldn't harm anyone else. So the guys that were there were just amazing. Absolutely incredible people, heroes beyond belief. The police were there within minutes, which was incredible. They started to drag us all of us off, and that's when you see the guy that has the knife with the suit. He's obviously found the knife that's been dislodged that kind of went down the side of the pavement. He's picked it up to take it away because we wanted to make sure that that's all he had, and wanted to make sure that we've dislodged that so he couldn't harm anybody else. But as the police are dragging him off, he rolls onto his back, and that's when they scream bomb. So we've noticed that he's wearing a bomb vest of some kind. He's got some sort of bomb device connected to him, and that's when everyone starts to step back. And my long green coat in all the videos, I just realised, very obvious. And we've all stepped back, and that's when and he tries to get up. But the funny thing is, when we were all
Okay, get back to the live chat. Now, interest in that interview? Like I said, of all these videos, I think the only real ones of interest, I mean, there's probably loads down here. A moment's silence, another interview with someone that blood, chaos, screaming, London Bridge attack, what happened? Perhaps we'll watch that in a minute. Not sure how long it goes on for. Did you know one of the people that helped to detain the guy, restrain him, whatever, was actually a convicted murderer, which is interesting. I don't know if I'll be able to find that again. We don't want to. Do we really want to hear Mayor Khan praise people? We witnessed the most extraordinary courage. This is all police talking. London Bridge. Well, watch this one. Actually, I'll just go back to the chat. Simone was asking why the ears are always strange. I did reply that, like I said, these people are actors. Ears are a great way of identifying people. So if they're playing the part of an attacker, for example, or a witness, and they're not genuine, they're going to mess up the ears or cut off the ears from any photos, and that way they can't be so easily identified. Sandy points out no blood on the knife during the footage. Absolutely correct. And deflated ball about the police on the scene within minutes. Yes, they are. I mean, all the other cars have ground to a halt, and yet the police managed to get through. And yeah, you're right. There's never a copper when you need one, which fortunately for me isn't often. There's footage of the guy sitting up after being fake shot. We might look for that on YouTube, because yes, I have seen some up on my among the people on YouTube I'm subscribed to. So yeah, I think that was PK did a good video on that. Sandy K. Burley of Sky News said they were with anti-terror police in the area when event kicked off. Yeah, that is suspicious. Simone says, so they kill and maim people to make this a real scene, unless there aren't any real corpses. You got it. No one dies, no one gets hurt in these events. And we can have a look shortly at some of the victims. Now, I'm not sure how many people have actually died. Like I said, perhaps a good one to watch would be what actually happened, because to be honest, I'm not as familiar with it as perhaps someone should be. Where was it? Where was the what actually happened video? London Bridge attack, what happened? Okay, we'll watch this, and then that can answer some of our questions. I'm sure it'll just be the same footage again. Yeah, Bob Line, Jackass Mule points out they don't injure crisis actors. No, they don't. But they do supply them with a lot of water. If we go, a common thing in all these staged events is water, bottles of water. You always see them. And shoes lying around. Or someone missing a shoe. I'm sure I saw a picture with loads of water bottles. Where is it? There we go. There's your water bottles, just here. And shoes. Now, I don't know what these people are carrying in that yellow bag, but generally, yellow plastic bags are for hazardous waste, I think, like body fluids and stuff. So why have they got table and chairs out? Weird. Right. Whatever. That's your forensic officers. Nice little promotion there for Costa and the Underground. They could have picked anything here. Yeah, I wanted to read that thing about a convicted murderer was one of the people who helped subdue the attacker, but it means having to read this whole thing unless I get to it quickly. Mr. Basu added, police were not actively seeking anyone else in relation to the attack, although they were making fast-time inquiries to make sure there was no outstanding threat to the public. Right. Where's the thing about the convicted murderer? I'm sure it's on here. It's about the bravery of the... one of those... Here we go. One of those who rushed to help during the attack was a convicted murderer who was attending the prisoner rehabilitation event on day release. The Times reported. James Ford, 42, was jailed for life with a minimum of 15 years in 2004 for the murder of Amanda Champion. So we've literally just got out. A 21-year-old woman with learning difficulties. Does anyone remember that story? Right, anyway, the video, what actually happened. I'm going to mute myself. And like I said, I don't know how long this video goes on for. But we'll be back in a minute.
And then, I mean, I had my baby with me, so I moved her behind the stairwell to be safe. But then there was two shots, or two loud pops, I think. And I also saw a spent taser. And then the guy was lying on the floor. He then pulled his coat back, which showed that he had some sort of vest underneath, because the police then really quickly moved backwards away.
Members of the public didn't realise at the time that was a hoax device, and they really are the best of us. Another example of the bravery and heroism of ordinary Londoners running towards danger, risking their own personal safety to try and save others. And I want to say thank you to them.
This country will never be cowed or divided or intimidated by this sort of attack, and our values, our British values, will prevail.
Okay, that actually told us nothing about what really happened. It was just a woman interviewing, talking about she saw a spent taser. Now, how do you know the difference between a... well, I suppose a spent taser is one that's had a zapper shot out. Right, Bob Lion Jackass Mule is doing a really great job of answering some of the questions and getting on the live chat, so many thanks to him. I'm going to see if you've got your own channel up. Well, yeah, he's absolutely correct on a lot of the things. as is deflated bull. About the 322 encoded in the victim's ages. It's always by the numbers. Yeah, I did see one of them was 23. Right. PK and lift the veil for the resurrection video. We'll have a look at that in a minute. Give us a second and we will. I do seem to jump from one subject to the other on my live streams. Not very well organised. Apologies for that. I don't do a lot of planning beforehand, except for maybe finding a couple of links. So apologies if I'm sort of jumping back and forth a little bit. Right, so Simone, you're the one who asked about, you're not familiar with crisis actors and stuff. It's not something I've personally covered in videos recently, but back on my old channel I did do quite a lot of videos on it, on the original London, well, I say the original London Bridge, the 2017 attack that happened on London Bridge. Did a lot of stuff about crisis actors. Sandy tells us Bridge CCTV showed traffic was blocked at least 5 minutes before the police were informed about the event. Exactly, I'm guessing that's how they do it. They congest the roads so no one gets near. They cordon it off earlier than the event. They then say the event actually took place. Simone said, what makes you think this was a staged event? I heard real fear in those voices. Well, I saw some guy reading a script. The woman talking about the spent taser and hiding her baby in a stairwell. She doesn't sound scared to me. And it's got all the classic hallmarks. With time, I mean, first time you come across it, you see, oh, one of the victims was aged 23 or 22. You just think it's a coincidence, and then you realise the next time there's a 22 or 23-year-old, and the next time a 33-year-old. It's the same numbers always come up, as deflated bull points out, 322 encoded in the victim's ages, and Bob Newell points out it was on the 333rd day of the year with 33 days remaining. And that is a very interesting coincidence, you could say, although it's never by chance or coincidence. Issy et al. Yeah, listen and learn, welcome aboard, absolutely. It does take a while to take it all in. Wow, Simone Z is a former journalist, that's curious. Who were you a journalist for, if you don't mind me asking? Bob mentions the red bus with the tinted windows like crisis actors. They always seem to use red buses. There was a attack in Europe where victims, rather than getting in ambulances, were filmed getting in onto a red bus, and that was, I can't think of the guy's name who pointed that out, but a really great investigator. Oh, I want to say, can't think of his name, but I'm sure someone in the chat will think of it. Right. Simone, I don't know, I'm keeping an open mind. It looked real to me and the emotions cannot be acted to that degree. That was fair, I heard. Right, on that note, we will look for the video of we'll look for the video where the suspect gets back up. Oh. Bear with us. And Simone, if you want a really great channel for these kinds of people looking into events and whether or not they're real, PK Censored, he's had a load of channels, keeps getting shut down. He does really good work. And his deflated bull points out nothing's by chance. It's always thoroughly planned. How long have I been going? I think I've been getting on for nearly an hour. 47 minutes. I will start winding down now. Having the OBS, Open Broadcast Software, open on my computer slows everything down. Right. OMG, he's supposed to be dead. This is supposedly the victim. I won't mute my microphone for this.
The reason why
Yeah, I'm not really sure what's going on there, but that certainly looks like someone getting up off the bridge who was, as he points out, rise from the dead. In fact, I'm going to leave a link to his channel in the live chat, so anyone can go to his channel and subscribe. He's well worth watching. Right, what else do we have from our PK? I think someone else recommended London Bridge. Run. He's shot dead but needs to put his jacket on. Let's have a look. We'll watch one more PK's video. 37 seconds. So here we go. Oh, okay, that was a odd one. Sandy, thanks for pointing out the documentary, Strategy of Tension, The Truth About Terror Attacks. I'll certainly have to have a look at that one. Right, what else are we going to look at? I was curious to see this guy, the convicted murderer. Have I just gone away from the page? Yeah, it would have been on here. Yeah, my computer really slows down when I've got, like I said, open broadcast software running, so apologies for the slow. There it is, for the slow loading times and whatnot. Right, where are we? Here we are, James Ford. Let's see what we can find out about him. James Ford, and what was the name of his victim? Oh, must have been that one. James Ford and Amanda Champion. Right, this is one of the people that, okay, London Bridge bystander who helped pin down attackers, convicted murderer. Interesting. But all these stories are 2 or 3 days old, so I don't know what this site is. Does anyone remember this one? Amanda Champion, who had the mental age of a 15-year-old, was found strangled with her throat cut and waistband near her home in Ashford, Kent, the previous July. 2004 it happened. And this is the guy. Interesting. There was something else I read. I think it was the Lion Mule guy, Bob, who pointed out one of the witnesses in this. One witness claimed to also be involved in the Boston Marathon bombing. That's another thing you always see. People recurring characters basically. Yeah, witnesses of one terror event have always witnessed. You'll always find one that has been a witness to another event. There's some people, I think there's a guy called, I want to say James Mason or something, but he's witnessed about 4 or 5 different, no, Mason Wells, would that be it? Right. The lone gunman is a myth, as if a lone attacker of any sort. Look at the 2 people, they look alike. Bob, which 2 people, please? Out of interest. Well, that is James Ford. Apparently, got to say, this video, well, the video we watched on PK's channel was really good footage. So where is he among these people? It's strange. Mason Wells. Okay. Simone, going back to you. Oh, the murder and the victim. Ah, you mean James Ford and Amanda look very similar. Now you mention it. They do have a very weird passing resemblance. I mean, this could be, that could well be the guy 10 years earlier or something dressed as a girl. Who knows? Could well be Photoshop. Once again, like I said, you not only do you always get weird ears, yeah, they do have the same sticking out ears, unless they were related. It doesn't say that. But yeah, that's very odd, isn't that? Very odd. You always get really terrible pictures as well, and I kind of figured out why it was. I mean, if you look at the 6 people for questioning, even though the guy acted alone, look at the picture quality of that. Now what they do, because people could easily put that into a program such as photo forensics and look for errors, and could easily pick out where they photoshopped an ear in or removed something. Look at his eyebrows. Anyway, they take a picture of a picture of a picture. Now that is something that Prince Andrew said in his interview with BBC. They said it's impossible to confirm whether those pictures are fabricated, Photoshop, because it's a picture of a picture of a picture. That is something the media do when they don't want their pictures being discovered as a Photoshop. They take a picture of a picture. Another thing they do is take pictures from computer screens. Like this one. Another weird one. Usman Khan, that is the guy who we saw get shot and possibly stand back up, sit back up. I can't say definitely because I don't know the context of that video. I've not been following the story closely enough. Right. Right, we're still reading about when Khan. Okay, apparently this guy, what was his name? Usman Khan had been convicted previously, or he came to the attention of counter-terrorism investigators because he was involved in a highly active cell around Stoke-on-Trent, part of a wider network of radicals then headed by the preacher Njem Chowdhury. Kinda know who that is. Yeah. Right, I am going to start wrapping up soon because I've been going on for about an hour. Deflated Bull suggests we check out the Centre for an Informed America for a really in-depth take on the Boston Marathon hoax. A lot more on the site as well. Brilliant. We'll take a look at that. And personally, I think looking at James Ford and Amanda Champion could be curious, and that's the only 2 pictures in existence. Now 42, 42, 24, 44. Interesting. I'm not sure if there's any more videos. I think we've probably seen about the best of them, unless you want to see people in Cambridge holding a vigil, or the moment of silence at London Bridge. Oh, should we watch this guy? We haven't seen him yet, have we? Okay, this will be the last video, I think. Simone, I'm glad you enjoyed it. It's great to have you on board. I mean, I'm curious that you're not necessarily familiar with the whole crisis actor situation. It's something I guess I've been looking into for only a couple of years myself. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't say I automatically believed everything. I'll tell you, one of the first stories I kind of started questioning was Lee Rigby. Is that his name? Yeah, Lee Rigby, the soldier who allegedly got beheaded. And yeah, you gotta say, deflated ball points out. Yeah, Usman Khan for the UK, a Brexit thingamajig. And Usman unscrambled his Mason. Good point. Simone, you're a Maltese journalist. Interesting. I knew a guy from Malta years ago who could score someone, but that's irrelevant. So I'm guessing, yeah, that's interesting. I'm really pleased to hear that. I know Malta is quite a small island, just off of, I want to say Spain, but I could be way off. It sounds like if you're, a mainstream journalist in Malta, it sounds like your news could be genuine. But that isn't to say that journalists in this country are always aware of what's a hoax and what isn't. They're told what to report on. They're told what to write. Okay, we'll watch this one last video. I'll come back and then I'm probably going to sign off for the night, okay? I don't know how long this video is. I'm going to mute my microphone one more time while this starts loading. Alright, we'll come back after this.
To see these things and to never be able to unsee them is something I'm going to hold on to for the rest of my life, We heard shouts from lower in the building, and two guys immediately ran to figure out what's going on. Everyone stayed hoping that things would be settled, whatever dispute had happened would be settled. And the shouting only increased and increased and got louder and louder. That's when I ran down and saw the scene unfolding there. And I was able to see the attacker. I was able to see, I saw people die. I saw things that I'm never going to be able to unsee. And I think that I want to make sure that as much as possible that we uphold the heroes of the day who were formerly incarcerated people, some of the folks who were often the easiest to dehumanize, to marginalize, to forget about. They stepped up. Folks were fighting back at the door. Folks were pushing back at the door. He was swinging knives at the door. And so there was a struggle from inside the building, outside the building. I was walking, following the two guys who came out in front of me. And then I saw the woman on the ground. I saw one of the guys, one of the formerly incarcerated men, attending to her. I saw one of the other lead organizers of the day administering CPR, and they jumped to the ready. He was brave in his own regard. He was the first line of defense. He was the first person to confront him at the door. And so I want to honor him. I want to honor his father's wishes, which have been explicit, to not have his life be used for political purposes, to ramp up any kind of draconian policies. right? Because that's not what he was about. He was doing the work in the prisons like we all are, and he was, doing the work for the underdog and fighting for people who've been marginalized to give the opportunity for folks to pursue their education.
Okay, I now see how this guy fits in. He was the one who was holding, look, Byron Bain, BB, of course, 22, a professor at UCLA, was running a workshop about prisoner rehabilitation. So he was running the seminar where James Ford was attending, having just been released for the murder of this lady, Amanda Champion, who was it pointed out how closely they look. It was Bob Mule pointed out how much the perpetrator and the victim look alike, right down to the same sticking out ears. Yeah, so this guy, Bain, whatever he's called, Byron Bain, was holding the seminar. He said a couple of things that were a bit odd. He met one of the victims. Now we were talking about wacky photos. Just check if I muted myself. Yep. We got to see more pictures. One of the victims. We haven't actually looked at the victim yet. Now what I will say, let's suppose, like we had one of our viewers question, saying they're not familiar with this sort of thing. Ask yourself, if this guy genuinely saw two people getting stabbed to death not 2 days ago, would he really be in the right frame of mind to sit in front of TV cameras and a journalist and just talk freely about it? Or would he be more likely to need to undergo some serious grief counselling, post-traumatic stress counselling before he could talk about it? But there's never a shortage in what I believe is a fake, and what a lot of people believe are fake events. You'll never find a shortage of people more than happy to talk about it. In fact, at the beginning, I think he even has a little giggle. I'll just say hello to Phil Wright, talking about how difficult it is hearing people at work talk about these events, and I know exactly what you mean. It is difficult, but I think most of the people that have to spend time with and around me know not to mention the news, because they won't around me, because they won't enjoy what I have to say about it. But anyway, yeah, does Byron Bain let out a little giggle? This one's ears aren't sticking out. Not in this picture, they're not, Simone. Hang on. Right. Not in this picture, but the next one. There's something weird about that face. I can't put my finger on it, but for one thing, poor quality picture. And you see this looks like a rainbow effect around the ears. You don't see it around any other part of the picture, not to the same degree. Just around the face and the hair, like you can almost see where they photoshopped this picture into the background. Yeah, I'm not somewhat worried about that one. Right, anyway, Byron has a giggle at the beginning, unless I... Yeah, there we go. I think he's stifling a laugh. Let's hear him one more time.
To see these things, to never be able to see it.
Is that a laugh?
It's something I'm going to express in life,
Well, they fuzzed the screen at the end of that one. Phil, you say you nearly lost your job over the Christchurch hoax. Yeah, you do have to be very careful, but my rule is well, depending on what sort of work you do, obviously, if people want to talk about political events around me, then they can expect to hear my opinions. But generally, I try and leave the room if I hear people talking about that kind of thing. Right, we could have a look at Jack Merritt and Saskia Jones just quickly before I go. See if there's any wacky pictures of them. See if there's any mourners that often appear. The family of Jack Merritt. Now, at this point, it sounds really heartless to say, oh, here's people attending a vigil. Another thing that always happens quickly, the funerals. They're buried within a matter of days, literally. Always far too quickly. Right, vigils for the victims. Right, I kind of want to see. Jack Merritt was a coordinator of the Learning Together programme, and Saskia Jones, poor quality picture as always, a volunteer. Okay, curious. Members of the public paid their tributes. Jack Merritt's family said he was looking forward to building a future. Now, I'm not necessarily saying that isn't a real person, but I don't know. I'm confident if this person is no longer with us, then he didn't die on London Bridge or outside the Fishmonger Hall, whatever they're talking about. Okay, I haven't seen this one. Fishmonger's Hall. One guy in one of the videos was talking about it like it was a bar or a pub or something. I don't know. Members of the public who helped tackle Khan. Which one is James Ford? I left guessing on that one. Okay, right. Phil, I'm sorry to hear about that. Are you from New Zealand out of interest? Or are you... Because I imagine, yeah, you would have to be very... Yeah, it's the sort of thing I can imagine most people wouldn't want their employees talking about, but then if they put you on a final warning for talking about it, why not put everyone else who was also involved in the conversation? Because why are some people allowed to express their views, but just because yours is different from the mainstream narrative, you get a warning? I think that's outrageous.